I'm here this afternoon, the day after Independence Day, down here in Fredericksburg, Texas, with Representative Kyle Biedermann of House District 73. Kyle, you're just finishing up your first year serving as a representative. Tell me about your first year. What's it been like? What have you accomplished and done?
Well, the first year, again, when you're a freshman, you show up 2 days before session, and session begins. And of course, when you're a conservative, you're actually lower than a Democrat when you're in the House of Representatives, unfortunately. So but I enjoyed it. I mean, I was there, I had my principles, my values that I ran on, that I've grown up with, and I wasn't going to change when I got there. And fortunately, we had a good group of us that care about the grassroots, that care about the people, and we're not sold out to the power and influence, and of course not leadership in the House of Representatives. So without the Freedom Caucus, it would have been much more difficult being my first year as a freshman, standing up with these values and principles. But because we stood together, we accomplished a lot.
Well, when you first got there, there wasn't a Freedom Caucus, and you took a bold step. And I don't even think you had been there 10 days when you put on, I forget the name, a summit prior to Muslim Day to talk about Islam and educate your compadres. Yeah, tongue-tied. And many of them, I think everyone that was there with you, that sat with you on the dais, became part of the Freedom Caucus. And so it was almost like that was a forerunner of things to come through the year.
Well, you're exactly right. Very rarely does a freshman do what I did in my first 10 days when you come into the Capitol. Plus, we had planned this before. We knew that we wanted to somehow start combating the fact that Muslims have a day in our Capitol. And it's not Muslims, it is radical Islam. It is CARE propagandizing as a good group, which they're not, run by Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, and all the rest of us. We wanted to expose that. But we also knew that the session before, when another representative tried to combat that, they didn't get very far, and of course, CARE and that whole group got everyone behind them and just really made it bad for that representative that was trying to stand up for, principles of Texas.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it smarter, and we did, and we put on a radical Islam terrorist forum in Texas, and to expose that.
It was standing room only in there. It was well attended.
And we did it very professional, but we did it very powerfully. And because of that, I took tremendous heat, as well as people like yourself and others that were helping me. And so that was just the first step. We've got to continue with that. But then, that was the beginning of the session. Then, of course, we formed a Freedom Caucus after that. It would have been easier if we were already formed, because then I would have had more, we would have had more organization with some of the other representatives, my colleagues. But it went very well. But again, what's most important is we need more representatives who are going to do what they say they're going to do.
Yes.
Stand for the values, stand for the grassroots, stand for the people that voted for them. Not do one thing in your district and then go to Austin and just become friends with leadership in Austin and the power there. And it's amazing. You get there and you watch these freshmen talk a good game, and as soon as they get there, they just start wandering off on the easy road with leadership.
I saw a few do that.
Yes, I saw a number do that. But I'm just so grateful. I'm just very grateful and blessed with this honor. And now that I won for my second term, I've got a Democrat challenger in November, which I still have to campaign.
Right, absolutely.
But our district is very Republican, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the next session. We're already getting ready for the next session.
Are there some particular things that you want to tackle this session?
Well, most of what I want to tackle comes from my constituents. So we have a lot of water issues in the Hill Country. We have a lot of issues when it comes to growth. We're one of the fastest growing areas in the country.
Yeah.
So those are issues that I'm working with. And in fact, I was very fortunate to be able to hire somebody who is very competent in this area. In fact, my office will be the most educated office when it comes to TCEQ and other issues because they're so important in my district. So
Wow.
we'll be the go-to office.
Good.
So we're preparing that right now. But other things, of course, is we can't lose any ground on our Second Amendment. We
True.
can't lose any ground on pro-life. And we need to figure out another way also to continue combating this radical Islamic terrorist threat here in Texas as well as the whole country.
Yeah.
And the deception by the Muslims thinking that that they're mainstream. And it's sad that there's so much deception. And people don't realize it because if you say something, you're labeled as a racist, Islamophobe, all those things, and it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. Truth must prevail.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
But the big thing is we have a new speaker. We will have a new speaker
Yes.
Next session. So after 10 years of a certain power, now we're going to have there's a vacuum right now.
Yeah.
But that vacuum needs to be filled. And who's going to fill that vacuum? Is it going to be the existing establishment?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be somebody more in the middle, but also wants to change some house rules and get away
It's
from
gonna be
the power players in Austin?
Yeah.
And so that struggle is going on right now. Even though we forced bylaw changes in the House Representatives Caucus, we still know that there's a number of Republicans who will join with the Democrats just because they want to keep power.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be very interesting what happens. We're working very hard to do everything we can to get the Republicans to nominate someone from our own party.
Yes.
And then go to the floor and vote for that person.
When will that nomination happen? Is it September, October? When?
Well, you have to find out. It's got to be after November because you need to know
Oh,
who's
that's
going
true.
to be there to
That's
vote.
true. Yes. Yes.
So it'll be in December sometime
Yeah.
that we will most likely meet and come up with a nomination from the Republican caucus, House caucus. But there's still no guarantee that you'll.
There's quite a few
both
representatives that did not sign on to that, and that's a shame.
That is a shame.
Because.
And I want to thank James Dickey for putting out that pledge. So we changed the bylaws, but that pledge was the next step of having some accountability to vote for the nominee.
Yeah.
But we have 20 to 25 Republicans that didn't sign that pledge.
That kind of shows where they are.
Right, and that's all you need to
Yeah.
sign with the Democrats to elect another speaker.
Yeah.
So it's, I tell you, there's evil from within us sometimes, our own party, as well as the threat from outside. So,
Yeah. There's a lot of work to be done.
that's why it's, like with the Freedom Caucus and myself, it's the grassroots, it's the constituents that we work for. That's who we want to represent, not represent the power in Austin. And that's unfortunately where
manipulative.
most of
Yeah.
them, most of the representatives, unfortunately, go that easy route.
Yeah. You're supposed to represent the people back home, not the people in Austin.
Well, that's a truth.
Unless that's your area.
But we have, and then of course having Trump as our president, we have a number of things that are going to benefit Texas, are already benefiting Texas. The whole border issue, which Texas has paid for, a lot of it, as the federal government starts taking over more and more, that'll just help us out.
Yeah.
But just a number of things. And so we're excited about this next session. New Supreme Court pick.
Yes.
Now, hopefully we get who we would like to have in there, and that could change things when it comes to pro-life and abolishing abortion.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we didn't really see or know it was going to happen so quickly, and it's happening.
Added blessings.
Right.
Yeah.
But with that, the other side is strategizing
Yeah.
against us. And that's one thing that I found out becoming a legislator, becoming a representative, is what you hear at home and what you think is going on, it's a lot different there. Because you actually our struggle is not the Democrats. our struggle is other Republicans.
Yeah.
And our struggle is against that power. And they are strategizing. They are well financed. They've got a lot of power. And here we've got the grassroots, which is even more power. But we have to stand up together.
Yes,
And
yes.
so we need the grassroots to, you have a voice now that you've never really had before. You have so much emphasis or ways to influence what's going on in the legislature, but we need you to stand up, and especially those of you that have representatives that are not standing up for the values that we want and the principles. We need you to stand up and have your representative vote for whoever we vote for as a nomination for a speaker. I mean, you have a lot more power than you think.
Yeah.
And we're just so blessed again that we are making progress, and we are winning, and we're moving, and we have momentum going into the next session. We need to keep that momentum, but we need the grassroots to help us with that momentum.
It's come a long way from 2 sessions ago, and the big fight with Scott Turner when he ran. And so it's going to be most interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I missed most of the last session due to a health issue, but looking forward to the one coming and believing for a lot more victories for us.
Well, and it's got to be, it's energizing and exciting when, you've been fighting yourself and numbers of others for many, 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 many years, and all of a sudden now we're actually may have a seat at the table. And so with a seat at the table, we can really start influencing and legislating. And so we're as excited for the grassroots as we are for ourselves, because we really are nothing without the grassroots. Because there's less of us, but with the grassroots, we're very strong. So thank you.
Thank you for your time this afternoon. I appreciate it very much, and I look forward to seeing you quite a bit during session.
And you know what? Just to go back to what we talked about earlier, this is what's so important about the grassroots. Not necessarily do I need to worry about being kept accountable, but we all do. But we don't always see everything. We don't hear everything. So the grassroots speaking up and keeping us accountable and letting us know when, hey, are you sure this is what you mean when something comes out? 'Cause, we're so busy with so many things. Things slip out sometimes. And
sometimes that sentence, when you leave out the word "not" out of it, which I have done before, it totally changes the meaning of something.
It sure does. And so when you're like us, we want that. We want to be shown, because we don't want things to be misunderstood out there. Because we have enough problem with the press. If we do something ourselves by mistake, we need to know that. So. Thank you, Kat.
Well,
and God bless you. God bless all the work that you're doing. And
I appreciate that.
Even though you weren't in session a lot last session, you were there in the beginning when it counted, when I needed you. And you were in my office, my gosh, for it seemed like
several
a couple days.
And
then remember when Muslim Day actually came?
We were there then too.
They all came to my office, and it was
you bet.
My gosh.
I remember.
I'm just grateful that we got that started, and let's figure out what we're going to do this next session.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right.